Hey, welcome to Broadfield Live. This is Dan Hirshorn here, representing the Broadfield team. I'm a workflow specialist here on the sales engineering team. And we have got a great webinar slated for you today. We've got Jim McKenna, the CMO over at Facilis Technology, joining us, one of our premier workflow storage partners. And we're really looking forward to getting the latest and greatest updates from this team. Jim, take it away.
Oh, thank you so much, Dan. And I heard that you have just completed the certification yourself for the sales portion of our reseller training. Is that true?
I did. It was super informative, easy to approach. We're getting the rest of our sales team certed up as we speak. It's a resource that if you're a dealer watching, we're happy to get you hooked up with the Facilis team to sort of engage in this training and really get certified and master this product line.
Well, that's fantastic. Anyone who gets certified and posted on LinkedIn gets either a hoodie or a hat that says Facilis Technology Certified. So you make that your own. Well, thank you so much for the introduction, and I want to go through quickly some of the latest things that we're doing here at Facilis Technology, and how those are enabling our customers to adopt our technology and maybe replace some aging technology as well. So let's get right into it. We have an ecosystem of different products and different features. It's no longer just a storage product. I'll go over a few of these as we sort of look at them in the context of storage upgrades and replacements for current customers that have shared storage environments. But this ecosystem is built around workflow. It's built around the idea that even creative people who don't have a lot of maybe technical or IT experience should be able to enjoy all these advanced features without any need or little need for all of that technical experience. So the one thing I want to focus on today is Nexus replacement, because we're getting a lot of requests about this. And so every time we get a request, the questions come in about, well, why is Facilis the right choice for Nexus replacement? Nexus E-Series has been end of life or will be end of life soon, depending upon what you have. And we have a lot of customers coming to us saying that, we like the way Facilis is going, so we want to include you in our next phase of technology for this type of a product. And so the first thing I'll say about why Facilis is because we have a big credit against new systems when you go with Facilis. Up to $9,000 on a Hub 16 or Hub 24, up to $12,500 on a 16 or 16, or make that a 32 or 48 system, and then up to $12,500 on a Flashpoint 48S. And this is depending upon the model that you're buying, of course, the amount of credit that you'll get, but even a Nexus Pro, smallest system traded in will get this entire credit off a new Facilis system for customers that are using that technology today. We have decades of Avid experience, so going all the way back to the 90s, dating myself, generations back of the Avid shared storage environments back in Unity. I was product designer there in marketing, and I was also part of the test team and QA for that product. So we have people on the team who have had experience going well back for decades. And so we not only deal with the storage side of things, we deal with the application side of things. We can help customers through those problems that they may not know, whether it's an application or a storage or a network issue, and we can help them to fix those problems and maintain a high level of uptime because we're the sort of sole source, and our support department is absolutely fantastic. We have native emulation when it comes to the Avid project and bin sharing, the Avid background processing, the proxy generation on the timeline, things that Avid is doing now that is specific to Nexus workflows works on Facilis because of our native emulation at the OS level. So we're not tricking the application into thinking that we're Nexus, telling the operating system that we are. So even before the application launches, we're perceived as that Avid storage, and you'll get the functionality and all of those features that you expect on Nexus with Facilis as well. We have a very familiar software layer. I mean, the folks who are coming from Nexus like the idea of having this client that they can choose what workspaces, we call them volumes, to mount to the desktop. And that layer includes a shared file system that's custom. It's basically a software layer on both sides, server and client, and it gives them a good feeling that this is a custom-built and purpose-built solution for them and their workflows. That's exactly what we do. So our volumes are resizable in a similar way to what Nexus workspaces do, and we can support those same workflows and those same volume management and storage management methodologies that our customers have grown accustomed to, and that Nexus customers have grown accustomed to. Smart access rules, I'll get into this a little bit because it's one of the major features of the product that really differentiates us from sort of standard network attached storage. And smart access rules is a very simple way to apply access control at the user level. If you think about how network attached storage does this, it's very complex and they use ACLs, and it kind of takes a team of people with Active Directory and everything else to make that work. Otherwise, everything is just share-based permissions. Well, we can get deep into this really quickly with not too much experience at all, and we can get into file and folder level access. Just taking away folder access, restricting write access to certain folders and certain file types, and we can go into even restricting delete on certain file types. And this is a really cool feature because, yeah, go ahead and delete whatever you want as long as they're not projects and as long as they're not my MP4s or MXF files. And we can actually make that happen really quickly on a volume that you choose, either a certain group of users or a single user that you don't trust, or everybody, if you want to just maintain full control over that individual file system on that volume, not just the volume or the share itself. We can do create only with no read, very secure ingest for remote workers especially. This can be something that an access control can design a remote worker to ingest and not have the ability to even play that media back afterwards. So completely secure once it's on the server. And of course, we audit all file system activity as a part of our smart access rules and supply undelete, which is a recycle bin functionality that gives you the ability to decide what file types and what locations and what users will have recycle bin turned on and which won't. Maybe the admins can delete whatever they want and the editors can't for whatever reason. So these are all very simple things that go well beyond the power of access control in network language, and it's much easier to deploy, of course. WAN link is something that I won't get too much into. We've had this for a couple of years now. Hundreds of our customers are using WAN link as a direct access to the server from wherever they happen to be without the need for a VPN. Faster, and the same tool set, same user accounts, and the same access control through smart access rules applies over WAN link as well. So I can work from my desk at home, feel exactly like I'm working from the facility, and we also have fast cache. And fast cache is more than just a remote access tool. It's an on-prem tool as well. It's client-side SSD caching, and we've had this for about a year now. Once again, lots of customers have deployed fast cache and having a great time getting those extra bit rates that they wouldn't be able to do over that standard Ethernet or internet connection. It's invisible to the end user, invisible to the operating system. No one knows that this is caching locally. We're doing everything for you. It's non-volatile. Go ahead and reboot and move the drive around from workstation to workstation. That information that you've already read from the server is still cached locally. And it's partial file. We're not synchronizing anything. We're not copying files local so you have a different copy of files that are sitting everywhere on everyone's desktop. This is just a cache. Just the bits of data that you've read are sitting in a cache. If the file changes, we just read the new file and cache it again, whatever parts that you've read. So it's a very intelligent system, and it works very well for remote, for caching ahead of time, for starting to work and caching on the fly in a very efficient way. So you don't need to have a cache volume that's the entire size of the project sitting in your desktop at home. And you can cache at work and take it home. A lot of people are in hybrid or 2 days on, 3 days home workflows and work setups, and in this way you can make this very easy to plug in at home to your Wi-Fi and play back the timeline that ordinarily you'd never be able to play back over an internet connection. So it benefits everybody. Of course, no brainer for the remote users, but then the 1 gig and Wi-Fi clients in the facility can have a great benefit from this, and even the on-prem high bitrate connected clients as well, because the server load is reduced, the network load is reduced. For every user that has a cache drive, they're not hitting this network and the server as much as they were before, so you can actually scale up your work group without the need to maybe go into a different server immediately. So I wanted to mention that, for Nexus trade-in, we have a client-side port coming, and that's a client-side port team coming. And this is the way we can take two ports, whether they be 1 gig or 10 gig or even 25 or 100 gig, and combine them together through software so that you have a single connection to the server through these two Ethernet ports. Something that Nexus has been doing for a while, getting two 1 gig links to be faster than 1 gig. So we're going to be doing that as well. That's an 8.4 that's going to be released. And then finally, Avid Fast Tracker, Avid Fast Tracker panel. Avid Fast Tracker panel is going to be through the Avid SDK sitting in the application itself, and it's going to enable us to import directly to the bin for MXF files that are already on the network, to do lots of things that we weren't able to do before with Fast Tracker as a standalone software. So this is something that's coming as well. In development, I think you'll see this probably available, if not at least showing by NAB, depending upon how complex it ends up being. But we've been granted the SDK by Avid for this project, and we're happy to be doing it. Let's get into Fast Tracker a little bit, because that is one of the products that is going to be important for these people who are moving up. A lot of them maybe have Interplay or Media Central but aren't really using it, maybe haven't invested in that in Media Central because of the complexity and cost and separate servers that you need. Of course, you don't need a separate server to work with Fast Tracker. Fast Tracker is going to be on the hub server itself. It's all hosted at the same location as the storage server. So it's very simple to deploy in your facility and has access to everything that you're using on the storage server. We have browsing of folder locations, so very pragmatically going into each folder location and seeing what's been indexed. All the indexing happens in the background, so you can search in these individual folder locations. Catalog search, so that you can go across the entirety of the shared storage environment, across all the catalogs, or within whatever catalogs you're given. The catalog is a subset of media that might be just assigned to certain users, that they can see certain projects. And that's a catalog search that has very robust parameters for searching, all the way down to the size and index date and duration of the file, and of course any metadata and tags that have been added to the file as well. A proxy generation, which is why many people are using Fast Tracker, is to generate proxies for editorial use. We can be doing ProRes or even Avid Media for proxies, and it can be automatic. As soon as a file is seen, it's proxied into the system, or it can be on demand. Any file that you see that's been indexed into a record can then be set up to create a proxy, or an entire folder of records like that. File movement and file copy, it's something that asset management systems do. We do it as well, either on an automatic scheduled basis for backup or redundancy of data, or we can do it on the fly, of course, for archiving certain parts of the project, folders and individual records and things like that. So you can either move or copy, and you have a lot of features when it comes to management of the data and the data locations. Metadata entry can be just a tag. It can be just something that you fill in, a keyword or a note, or it can be something that you have a pull-down menu for individual tag values that you can have, and that's all set up in the administration. And metadata entry sort of is the precursor to the bigger stuff that we're doing, which is lots more metadata in a localized transcription service. On the server itself, localized to the hub and no internet required, we can be doing up to 30 languages of transcription. That transcription, of course, is all searchable after the fact, and it can be exported as SRT as well to be imported into Adobe and other applications that take those files. And then we have Google AI analysis. We send it up to Google Vertex, and this requires internet connectivity, and it comes back with all of the objects, the text, the logos, everything that's been seen in those frames come back as metadata that can then be searched, of course, in the database. We have Adobe and Resolve panels today, and like I said, Avid coming soon. But the Adobe panel we've had for years now. The Resolve panel is new for the previous version of Fast Tracker that shipped earlier this year, and it's a Resolve integration, so that we have the ability to take whatever proxies we've generated, attach them automatically as they're being imported to the Resolve and Adobe applications, so that you can toggle or prefer proxies or sources as you're in those applications. Of course, all the metadata markers that are created or logging that's created within the Fast Tracker application comes down into those UIs as well on the timeline, so you can see all of that's being done. And logging with keyboard. So basically, I'm from the old school where everything is done on the keyboard and all the keyboard commands and the old labels they used to give us to push onto each of the keys so we knew what they all did. Well, we have lots of keyboard shortcuts now for logging, where you can use JKL, start stop with the space, M to mark and type in, and IO marks for creating subclips or creating ranges of marker. All those things are keyboard based now, so logging becomes much easier with the Fast Tracker system as well. I wanted to get into just a little bit here with our future hardware. We have a 42 drive expansion unit coming. We want to make more dense storage, and I think that's what people are looking for as they start to get larger and larger capacities in the system. They don't want these to be, racks and racks of storage. So with a 42 drive expansion unit that can either sit on a current hub 16 or hub 24 or even hub 8, or it can sit on a hub 1, which is just a 2U controller. We can have up to a petabyte per enclosure. So very dense now in a 4U enclosure. And we can use this as well in the nearline feature set. We have two different methods of storage. It's online and nearline. Online has all the shared file system features, all of the WAN link and fast cache and all the things that you're doing to create a workflow among all of your workers and editors and creators on your system. And then the nearline portion, of course, is a large reduction in price from the online storage, and it just takes away some of those features. Maybe you don't have WAN link or fast cache or smart access rules. Maybe it's meant to be just a back end, but still shared file system, still mount to your desktop on-prem and still have a full access to the capacity of that storage. And it can be updated any time to become full online storage later on. There's no difference in the hardware at all. So we can create that online storage from a previously purchased nearline at a lower price if that's the way the customer is moving. So thank you very much for this short refresh and introduction perhaps to some of the new features. And I want you to take away from this that Facilis is the obvious choice when it comes to Nexus replacement because of what we've always done. We've always supported Avid since our very start of the product back in 2004 with our shared file system that started in 2009, 2010. We've had Avid emulation. We were the first to come out with real OS level Avid emulation for the project and media sharing, the things that Avid editors and end users want to see, for functionality on their Avid Media Composer systems. So please let us know if you require any more information on this. We'd be happy to sit down with you and your customers to show them the full functionality of the system and show them why this is the correct path forward.
Thank you so much, Jim. Really appreciate all the insight. There's obviously a very compelling conversation that can be had with your existing Avid customers. So if you're a dealer just checking us out today, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Facilis team or to my sales engineering team here at Broadfield. We are an extension of the technical team at Facilis and are happy to help you spec out any sort of workflow that may make sense for your customers, even if it's just starting the conversation for a loyal Avid Nexus user. There is definitely amazing feature sets here and some price savings as well. So thank you so much, Jim, for a really insightful presentation. I appreciate it. And thank you to all who tuned in for Broadfield Live. We'll be back next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Dan Hirshhorn. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Broadfield Distributing is a value-added distributor of live production, streaming, video editing, and storage products. We only sell to resellers. We are always looking for new dealers. So call us at 1-800-634-5178 or email sales@broadfield.com. You'll like doing business with Broadfield because we make it easy to do business.